Dear LCPs, welcome to the video about mastering oGX of the National Educational Cycle. You're very welcome, and I'm happy to tell you more about oGX. First of all materials you might need in line with oGX, you will always find here in the Pearls tool at bit.ly/oGX Pearls tool. They are all materials in line with marketing and promotion, processes, EP management, or education. You can find them in our overview, the home tab of the Pearls tool, and then you just go to output, commission calls, and education sessions whenever you want to check the output of commission calls, for example, or for training materials and education materials. Just check this link here, where also the whole NEC for oGX is uploaded. So also feel free if you have any questions about a specific topic. I'm just giving you a rough, brief overview about all the topics. So for more details, feel free to also check out the whole topics from oGX, from this NEC. In general, keep in mind that there are internal and external materials, so please don't share internal materials with EPs and use them for promotion, but always make sure that you just use the actual marketing materials for that. All product basics you can find in the EP booklets. They are linked here, so I will just give you a very brief overview, and you can find all information there. These booklets are also there to be shared with the EPs. Overall, Global Volunteer is one of our products. All opportunities in Global Volunteer are in line with the Sustainable Development Goals. So through these projects, the EPs can explore new cultures, they can get new experiences and develop new soft and intercultural skills through the social project they can do abroad. The duration of these projects, 6 to 8 weeks. They get accommodation as a compensation for their work, and the target group, therefore, is the youth between 18 and 30 years. Keep in mind that for all our exchange opportunities, this is a requirement, because we are a youth-run organization targeting youth, and youth is to be considered from the age of 18 to 30 years by the United Nations. Then for Global Talent, on the right side, you can see in which working fields we offer these professional internships. Global Talent gives someone the chance to get a practical work experience, build up an international network, and develop new hard and soft skills through this professional internship abroad. The duration lasts between 6 weeks up to 1.5 years, and usually you get compensated with a salary. Sometimes, especially for short-term opportunities, it might also be just accommodation and meals. But for long-term opportunities, there always has to be a salary. Sometimes the salary is accompanied by accommodation or meals that are also provided. The target group for Global Talent is in general graduates between 18 and 30, because it does not just require a background in the specific field someone is applying to, but also work experience of 2 to 3 years in this field. And usually the EPs are working in startups or companies. Then for Global Teacher, the requirements are almost the same, like for Global Talent, just that the work fields here is just about teaching, so it's all in line with education. So education students, language students, or someone with a background in sciences can go for this experience. In general, the target group for our outgoing exchange programs are university students, especially for Global Volunteer, for Global Talent and Global Teacher, just if they already have a working experience of 2 to 3 years. That's why, especially for Global Talent, but also for Global Teacher and Volunteer, we have the graduates as a target group for all products, because they are expected to have a bachelor's degree and already some working experience. And then looking into high school finalists, they can still go for a Global Volunteer experience if they are already 18 to utilize their time after the high school before joining university. Coming to the customer flow. Customer flow means basically all steps our EPs, who are our exchange participants, are going through, and all touchpoints they have with ISAC. So these look like this. So we have, first of all, attraction, where marketing comes in. Attraction means we generate signups. We find new people who are interested in going abroad. Then they go through the consideration phase, where the sales is happening, where they get support in finding opportunities and apply for it and get actually approved. Preparation means they get prepared to actually go out, which is the case during the experience where they are abroad. Then they come back and they go through the post-experience where they get a debrief. And then afterwards, after the whole experience, after everything, we want them to go back to the funnel, to go back to the consideration phase and go for another experience. All of this has different stages, which are called status, especially in EXPA. These are the different status we go through during the customer flow. So someone is a sign up or considered as open when they sign up, when they register. Then they go through the application accepted by host, where the host entity accepts the EP for an opportunity. Then the EP accepts from their side to be accepted. Then approved means the EP already pays and signs the contract. Then someone realizes during their experience, so it's the first day of the project. Finished is the last day of the project, and then completed when actually the standards are also fulfilled, which we'll come to in a minute. So consideration basically covers all of this, all steps that are leading to an approval. So when someone first gets contacted by our members, then they apply together. The member supports the EP in the application process. Then there will be an interview with the host LC, where the EP will get accepted afterwards if everything works out. Then the EP has to sign the acceptance note on isac.org to get accepted. And then once the EP paid the money, signed the contract, and all information, all details are clarified about the experience, like visa processes, all fees, the dates, then the EP can get approved. Coming to the exchange standards, there's a difference between finished and completed. Finished basically just means someone had their last day of the project, but then we don't just want them to have the experience, but we want them to have a good experience. That's why we have our 16 standards, which are supposed to be fulfilled together from home entity, but also host entity, and during the different stages of the customer flow, which are preparation, experience, and post-experience. So if all of these, at least the mandatory standards are fulfilled, 14 are mandatory, 2 are not mandatory, then the EP will get completed after they filled the exchange standards survey. About the whole process with the EP management, first of all, the LCs and the MC are working together in this whole EP management process. GV is fully run by the LCs, while GT is fully run on national level. And the LCs are just supporting with the first contact until we find out if someone is interested in GT or GV. First of all, the marketing is done by MC and LC together, supporting each other. Then the MC will send out a welcome mail to new EPs. The LCs are then taking over with contacting the EPs for the first, the LCs will take over contacting the EPs for the first time, calling them, giving them more information about everything, and informing them about next steps. During this first contact call, the member is supposed to find out if someone's interested in GT and also eligible for this. This is the main thing here. If you have more questions about the eligibility criteria and so on, and what needs to be considered in this first contact call, please check the details from this video in the oGX NEC. to get all information on when someone can go for a GTA and when someone should go for a GV instead. So once someone is eligible for a GT, then the MC will take over. If someone's going for a GV, then it's fully processed by the LC. How to do so? Here you can find all standard operating procedures. So just in the Pearls tool, in the tab of SOPs consideration, the standard operating procedures look like this. First of all, the EP will receive the EP booklet, where all information are collected and EP can read through everything that is important for this product. Then the WhatsApp group, the EP gets added to the WhatsApp group, respective for global volunteer or global talent or global teacher. For global volunteer, the idea is to hype the EP to actually go abroad, see the benefit they get from it. And for the internships, it's to give them the opportunities that are available where they can apply to. Then they have to fill a Google form. For GV, the form is about a GV interest form. So to give us their expectations, what they are looking for, what kind of project, where they want to go. While for the internships, they upload their CVs for a CV check to receive feedback on their CV from the national team, the MC and the EST. This is an overview about all the next steps. The first contact should end with, as I said before. For more detailed information about the first contact, please check out the video about it to know how exactly to approach an EP during the first call. Then when it comes to tracking, tracking is super important, and tracking doesn't mean that you don't trust your VP. Tracking just means that you actually care about the performance, but also about the personal development of your VP. So these are some tracking routines your VP should have, but also what you should track your VP on, but also where you can get information from your VP about what's going on in their department. First of all, the VP has to check expa daily, at least once a day, to see if we have new signups or new applications. Also, you as LCP should check expa on a regular basis, but make sure that for sure your VP oGX always is on top of expa and always knows about new developments there. Then there will be the performance report, which is sent on a weekly basis by the MC to the WhatsApp and Telegram groups with the VP oGX about the overall performance of this department in the entity. Then the VP should follow up on their members at least weekly to see how their EPs are doing, to see if they need any kind of support. And the VP is also supposed to update the tab that is called oGX KPI tracking in the planning tool weekly before your EB meetings, before LCMs, whenever the VP is reporting about the progress of their department. And then the monthly goal oGX is also another tab in the planning tool, which is supposed to be updated monthly. Last but not least, not forgetting about the OGD strategies, which are also in the planning tool, also latest once, at least once a month, they should be reviewed and seen that still all operations and all activities are actually in line with the strategies that were laid out in the beginning. Then how to track EPs on expa. Therefore, we have the people overview. You go to people and then you have different filters you can use to just see specific EPs based on, for example, when they signed up, what kind of manager they have, and so on. But then at the same time, you can also use the preview to actually adjust who and what you see. So you can see here an idea of how you can arrange your preview to be able to track everything that is important without the need to open every single EP profile. Same applies to applications. Applications of people gives you an overview about all oGX applications. You again have the filters where you can filter for specific applications, for example, when they applied, where to, and so on. And the preview again gives you an overview for better tracking. You can see here what might be interesting for you to track: status, applied at, and so on. Then analytics is a very crucial part for tracking, especially when it comes to numbers. So performance will give you an overview about the KPIs in numbers during your term. So there you can track your VPs, in general, your LC performance on a daily basis. For the graphical analysis, this might more be to see how the over time performance develops. So how is the trend going? How were the previous years, and so on. For the graphic analysis, you just have to select the suitable filters, like you can see here, to be able to view the performance over time. And then for performance in analytics, you will get a lot of numbers to be able to properly track the outgoing exchange numbers. You go to check the oGX signups. So whenever checking oGX, please, whenever checking signups, please check open oGX and not OGV, because when you check OGV, you will lose a lot of signups, just because these EPs were not assigned a product interest. So for opens, for signups, always check oGX. For all other KPIs, always check OGV. So you have the specific numbers for OGV. Therefore, don't consider APL, applications, but rather consider PPL, people, which is the number of EPs. Because when you take this example here, we have 92 applications, but just 14 people, meaning 14 EPs applied to 92 opportunities. So some of these EPs apply to several opportunities. But if we say we have 92 applications, we're lying to ourselves because we don't have 92 people who are actually interested. So we should always consider OGV and then people. These numbers should be updated in the planning tool, in the weekly KPI tracking. You can always see when the tool was last updated, if your EP is doing this reliably. And then for every week, the numbers should be taken from what I showed you right now, the performance analysis. And then you can actually see the weekly performance and then overall the monthly goal achievement of how close are you as your LC in actually achieving the planned goals for this month. On the left side, you see the overall performance for the semester. So you can always track your VP on that. You can also see it in a better overview in this graph. On the left side, you have the axis for the absolute numbers of planned and achieved KPIs. So the gray one is the planned numbers, red is achieved, and on the right side, you see the axis for the percentage of goal achievement. So how close are we in actually achieving our goal? And then also there's the monthly KPI tracking in the annual overview. So for your whole term, you just check out this tab in your planning tool to see on a monthly basis how you are performing. Also, the strategies are important to follow up with and not just set in the beginning once, but actually at least once a month coming back to them, where your VP should update the metrics and see if the activities are actually taken forward, if your VP is working on the activities that were laid out in the strategies. Then coming to synergies, what kind of synergies are important for oGX? The strongest synergy is marketing, looking into the number of signups, but also the number of applications, where are EPs coming from, so the referrals, and the percentage of conversion rate from sign up to apply. So this can give you an information on do we actually do enough marketing actions in your LC? Are our marketing actions successful, or do we just do actions without seeing results? Do we reach the right target group, and are we able to process these EPs we attract? or are our EPs even getting contacted? So this is a always two-sided conversation. Your VPs should have, your VP marketing and VP oGX, to see that they track each other. It's not just oGX tracking marketing on do you actually have signups, but then also the other way around, marketing tracking oGX if these signups are actually converted and so on. Then another synergy might be with university relations. If there's no separate position for university relations, at least make sure that someone is taking care of it. If it's not the VP or GX, can it be yourself or someone in the LC? To make sure that you know how many signups are actually coming from the university, how many university events do you attend as an LC, do you have any, or how many advocates do you have in the university? So how many people in the university are actually supporting ISAC or know about ISAC, and are maybe even faculties accepting GV as an internship? These might be measures of success or KPIs university relations and oGX can discuss during their synergy meetings. To come to the conclusions, how the university is even supporting ISAC, if university events are used in our favor, so we can promote ISAC there, and if the EPs can maybe also go for a GV as an internship to have their mandatory internship accredited. Then TM is also important as one synergy where you look into the number of members. So how many members are there in oGX? How is the MXP standards fulfillment? How is the goal achievement of the oGX members? And how many trainings were maybe conducted, not just for functional trainings, but also for personal development for the oGX members? Conclusions from this synergy can be if there are even enough members in this department, how are these members performing, and do they get the kind of experience they deserve, and do they have the necessary support to actually perform their tasks the way they are supposed to do. And then the last synergy oGX has is with finance, to see the revenue and expenses in this department. So to answer the questions, how much money do we actually generate, or how much do we spend on oGX? And therefore, is our product sustainable? Because if we always just have expenses with oGX, but we never generate money, how sustainable are we? And at the same time also, do we have the financial means that oGX needs to do their operations, or is financial support needed? So for example, if EPs don't get contacted, is it because we don't have airtime? And how can finance maybe come in to support? Then last but not least, university relations. We already talked about it in the synergies. The goal of university relations can be for the university to support in oGX promotion. So if the university knows about ISAC, they can also promote and recommend these experiences to their students. Faculties can be approached to see if GV can be accepted as a part of the mandatory internships for specific study courses where we have suitable opportunities available for volunteering. The university might even come in to provide financial support, for example, for scholarships for EPs, or at least for members, or to support with conference fees, to provide buses, or any other kind of support to support either our outgoing operations directly or membership. This is it about oGX in a nutshell. In case you need more in-depth information, just go to the respective topic in the oGX National Education Cycle, so you can go through the whole topic in more detail. And otherwise, I'm always there to answer questions or to support you in the operations in your LC. Looking forward to seeing your LCs approving.